Welcome to the Instigators with Paulie D and Chris Kotsopoulos.
Oh, here we go.
That's a bunch of garbage, and it's being proven right now.
Oh, absolutely. I was a staunch defender of that.
They send it up.
You know, if he doesn't stand on his head in the second period, we don't have a chance.
What a save! On Lundqvist. Henry! Why not? That's the chance, and that's the reason why.
Fans are really, really knowledgeable on that, and I'm very impressed with that. If that's anybody else but Alex Ovechkin, that's an automatic suspension.
With this specific player, if he doesn't get 10 games or more, it's a disgrace in the face of the NHL.
Welcome to the Instigators.
Welcome
with
to
Paulie
the
D and Chris
insanity
Kotsopoulos.
we like to call the Instigators Hockey Show. Where my Capo rise to power? That's the other thing we need to discuss. We got time for season 2. If you haven't watched season 1, you can You could watch it on Prime or Tubi. I'm one of 3 characters that might be in season 2, so you got to better check it out. Capo Rise to Power. Please check it out.
Paulie plays a tough guy in it, Matty.
Oh, God. What did we do? We lost Maddie now. My goodness.
It's the world of this modern world, Paulie, of technology. It's the way it goes.
The internet of insanity.
We'll get him back on.
We'll get him back. Absolutely. There he is, actually.
No sound, guys. I'm sorry. You guys were coming in. I had zero sound whatsoever.
Then you hear us now.
It just made it kind of awkward. Rough start, but listen, we're off and running, everybody.
It's the world of technology, Matty. It's right up your
Here
alley.
we are. So, hey.
What a deadline before the deadline, as we have a ton of moves to go over.
Yes. Hold on 1 second, though. I want to make this clear because we talked about this. Guys, I want everyone to know I'm excited. Please keep listening. We're more than likely moving away from the StreamYard format, so please stay in tune. We're going to look for a different format. So I want you to know. Doesn't mean we won't be on YouTube. We might be bringing it just a different area. We're getting very live on TikTok. We're going to make some changes, so I want everyone to be informed, because letting you know early is letting you know often, then you will know where to find us. So we're going to continue, obviously, on YouTube, but there are some other areas we're looking to do. With that being said, we will inform you. I just wanted to get that clear so everyone knows that there's a possible change in formatting. It might not be on StreamYard.
And it's possible that we might have a guy in the host seat, a rookie.
Yeah.
Who are we talking about?
You, Matty.
The
Matty,
rookie?
real man. It's possible that some or one of us might not be here every week, but Matty is more than welcome to take over the hot seat.
So listen, I did a lot of work over the summer, and if everybody remembers, I put out a big thing about we were looking for a co-host for the show, and obviously we not only did we take on Matt the Mailman Lips, but we took on Ricky the Goon Otazu, and I've gotten nothing but the greatest feedback. But there was a method to my madness. I'm always going to be involved in the show, and this is always going to be our brand. But there's changes, and change is always – it's change, but it can always be good and positive. Bringing Matt on, Matt has been so enthusiastic. He has such great hockey knowledge. There's going to be times I'm not going to be available, and Matt's going to be our host. Kotzi's good with it, Ricky's good with it, and I for sure am good with it. Matt and I had a couple of beers over the summer. Actually, it was over the summer.
Yeah. Felt like yesterday, Kotz.
That's a great guy. He's so enthusiastic. He loves the team. Obviously, everyone loves him and has greeted him with open arms. So he is going to be my predecessor. And at the end of the day, I'm still going to be here. I'll be watching behind the scenes when I'm not in the scenes. But Maddie's getting a little promoted here to to take over the hot seat when I'm not around. So congratulations, Matt, and the best of luck.
Thank you. Big shoes to fill. But
Hey, Matty, you're like a third round draft choice by Paulie, but you play like a first rounder.
That's all Chris Drury can get in any kind of trade that he makes, is a third round draft pick. So I mean, I guess it's a compliment, So
you play like a first rounder, It's a hell of a pick by Paulie. Maybe he should do the draft.
Yeah, seriously. So listen, I'm going to ask my defenseman on the panel here.
Okay.
The theme right before the deadline seems to be big defensemen, preferably right-handed defensemen, going. Connor Murphy, Tyler Myers, Colton Parayko potentially going. We're going to go over all of these trades, but let's start with probably the biggest fish on there. Actually, and Mackenzie Weegar just won that too. He's a right-handed shot too. So a lot of right-handed defensemen going. That seems to be like the premium position that's going right now. We'll start with Colton Parayko. I think that's the biggest name on the board. He went for the number 9 overall pick this past draft and a first-round pick to Buffalo. I believe he still has to waive. I think it went official. Might still have to waive it. But thoughts on that? Going to Buffalo.
Listen, Buffalo at the beginning of the year, we all trashed them. I mean, I remember the show. We kind of
I didn't trash them.
Well, you weren't exactly like throwing pom-poms in the air.
I wasn't pom-poms, but I didn't think they'd be that bad.
Back if you want.
I didn't think they'd be playoff team, but they were pretty. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Well, you didn't think they're going to make the playoffs, so that's trashing them. Okay, so
fair.
Anyhow, make it clear with Buffalo. I just looked at the standings today with them. They're only 2 points behind Tampa, or 4 points behind Tampa. They got a shot at winning the whole thing in the East right now. That's a great addition to that team right now. Like you said, right-handed shot. Another monster-sized guy that you need.
6'6".
That grind of playoff hockey. And they already got enough talent on that team. Paulie and I have been discussing it for years, why Buffalo hasn't broken through with all the talent they have. This just affirms it to me that they're not just thinking about their spot of being in the playoffs this year, but making a run in the East for sure. I think it was a great trade by Buffalo.
Yeah, listen, I don't.
I didn't realize fucking Buffalo was only 2 points behind Tampa.
They're good. People say
how did that happen?
They went from bottoms up to tops up, Paulie, all in about a month and a half span.
I'm telling you, if Buffalo adds, if they add another piece like a middle 6 forward, like why not Buffalo in the East? Because that defense is the best defensive in. If you're just talking positionally with Parayko, you got Dahlin, you got Samuelson, you got Byram, you got Power, you got Kesselring, and now you got Parayko. That is loaded. So
and they're big, and they're all big except for
big.
one.
Buffalo's been big their whole time, and they got 10. They got another 6'6" guy. Paulie, Ricky's trying to get in, by the way.
Ricky O, making it back.
Oh, the door. You know what? The door's locked for a reason.
Listen.
Let these hooligans in.
There he is.
Soon.
What, they kick you out early?
All right, crazy but good day, guys. Crazy but good day.
They kicked you out.
You're not talking as a Ranger fan, right?
No, but you're talking about Buffalo, and the last thing I just heard from my Buffalo source is Buffalo's in on Trocheck now.
I was going to bring that up. I was going to say, first of all, I didn't realize they were 2 points behind Tampa. I had no idea.
What a season.
Why wouldn't they be in on Trocheck? Are you kidding me? The guy wins faceoffs. He's a playoff provider. He does a lot of the little things that you need to win a Stanley Cup.
Yeah. My source, as you know, is an ESPN host
for us.
And I won't give the name away, but the person is a very high-profile ESPN host. Said there's 2 things going on tonight in Rangerland. One, a lot of people are questioning if Chris Drury has waited too long and the window has closed because he's backtracked on multiple players now saying he doesn't need to make trades and that he can use this core as the foundation going forward. And the other is Fox is 100% in play. There's been multiple calls, as well as Trocheck to Detroit, Carolina, or Buffalo. Now Buffalo's entered the mix, so that's what I had tonight.
No more Pittsburgh or Boston on Trocheck.
He did not mention Pittsburgh.
Interesting.
Doesn't mean it's dead. I mean, because yesterday it
Well,
looked like
he's
it
from
was done.
Pittsburgh too. Yeah.
But they're saying the window is now closing because other teams are acquiring centers and filling needs and cap space, and Chris may have waited again too long.
Well,
Anyhow,
getting back to the
go to the next one there, Matty. After Parayko, what do you think about the Connor Murphy trade?
listen again, another big body, right? Goes for a second round pick. Now Edmonton, I think Edmonton getting Parayko would be Parayko. I'm sorry, Edmonton getting Murphy will be a very, very good for their team. But will it fix everything? I mean, they're throwing all their draft picks. They're trying to get Connor McDavid a Stanley Cup. I think it's a little bit of an overpay, but again, Edmonton needs to go balls to the walls, and they need to try to do
Edmonton is
everything they can.
acquiring Jason Dixon from the Chicago Blackhawks. They're finalizing the trade.
The veteran winger or centerman from Chicago, right?
Yeah,
center,
Now,
30.
getting back to, I like that move because you know how I think of the Edmonton defense when it comes to playing defense. They're worse than Swiss cheese. I mean, there's not a guy on that D that can play D.
Not going to mean anything. Not going to mean anything until
Murphy actually plays pretty good D. I've watched his career since the beginning. He's actually stay at home. He's not going to make any stupid offensive turnovers like you know who. Won't mention his name anymore. But you know what I'm talking. I think it's a good move by Edmonton picking him up. I'll be honest with you. I think it's a kind of quiet one, but a good one.
I think Edmonton's still going nowhere because their goaltending is Swiss cheese. I mean, Skinner is better than both their goaltenders. They traded Skinner away.
Let me jump in on that goalie point for 1 minute.
Playoffs, they're going to be trouble. Trust me.
Bravotsky
I'm saying they're going to win it all, but they're going to be trouble for teams.
You say so.
Bob
think
in
first
Florida is in play, and one of the deals is Bob going to San Jose and San Jose flipping Askarov to Edmonton has been discussed. So Edmonton is still pursuing a goalie, and Florida is giving up, allegedly giving up on their goaltender.
Oh, that's right, Florida. Well, let's talk. I want to jump on that one. Like all of a sudden, Florida looks like shit now. Hey guys, like all of a sudden.
Well, we beat them in the Winter Classic. We demoralized them.
They want to get rid of Bobrovsky. Who's next?
Wow. I mean, when you lose Alexander Barkov, the best two-way center in the league for the year, tends to hurt your team a little bit.
That's part of the NHL, though. With or without, they want to get rid of him now. That's the rumor.
Who?
Barkov. Yes, it is. It's a rumor right now. They're willing to move him.
I mean, that'd be a mistake. I don't think so.
Well, I'm just telling you, it's out there. You're the one that's up to date on all this stuff. It's out there. I read it all yesterday and today.
I still think this guy, Pizza Boy, is holding his hand on his ass a little too long once again. There's no reason to take this down to the deadline. We said weeks ago, strike before anybody else and get top dollar. And another interesting point is now, with the rumors going around that he's trying to appease Trocheck and keep him as close to New York City as possible. So here we go again. We're getting a general manager bent over a barrel by a player, which is now taking away from his trade value because you just cut half the league off from Detroit.
Well, isn't that part of his no trade clause? He's got 12 teams he doesn't want to go to. You can't.
Yeah, but he's turned in front.
But he should have. But sure, he should have had him submit the list long before you were going to get traded, and then he's locked in. He can't change anything about it. Now all of a sudden, now he can pick Minnesota. He can, I mean, it's just a disaster, Chris Drury. But we're gonna get into the Rangers in a little bit. I want to continue this trend of right-handed defensemen as we're going, right? So we got Connor Murphy, we got Colton Parayko, Mackenzie Weegar for Oli Mata and 3 second-round picks and a prospect, Ricky. Holy overpay. Am I right? Going to Utah?
Why is Brandon Schneider still a Ranger? This is what I'm talking about, Matty. The overpay right now, 2 days and 3 days before the deadline. A second-round pick for McCarron. I mean, you're making McCarron come across as like he's an all-star player. The guy's
we got a third for Panarin, by the way.
And we got a third, and we got a guy. Did anybody see this kid, what he pulled this weekend in juniors when he got hit from behind into the boards and all 4 of his teammates are fighting? And he jumps up and starts doing a Hulk Hogan to the crowd and waving on and acting like a complete asshole in the middle of the rink instead of, Did you see it, Kotze?
Yeah, I did.
It's a joke. And that kid doesn't belong anywhere near the NHL with an attitude like that.
Yeah. I mean, listen, Mackenzie Weegar's a minus 35 on the season. 21 points, 3 goals, 18 assists. He's got 3 second-round picks. Oh, by the way, one of those is the
And a
New York
prospect.
Rangers. And a prospect, and Oli Mata that they might be able to flip for something else, right?
Well, guys.
Katsi, tell me, talk to me.
I got to cut in here because Ricky and you guys both have a great point here about this, about what they're getting, the haul that these teams are getting in return. Did anybody ever mention these names in the last 6 months or 3 months or 2 months? No. That's how you make great trades. You make great trades by keeping it close to the vest. You don't let everybody know that you're willing to make moves. You don't portray this guy that he's available. You don't do this and say, I know he's got a no trade contract, but we're willing to try and work a deal out. You don't let the whole world know about what you are trying to do with your team.
Thank you. 100%, Katsi.
Plain and
100%.
simple.
Katsi, I'm going to say something that only you are going to understand.
I said this before, you negotiate with that player quietly. If you have to talk every day to that player who's got a no-trade clause, we have a meeting every day and we chat. We chat like we're still teammates and friends. What's good for you and what's good for me? You don't just parade them out there so every team in the league go, look, they're shitting themselves over there. They want to move these guys. Why would I want your guy now and give you more than what I'm willing to pay you?
Yeah. Well, why would you give him more when he's already said he's not going to go anywhere else?
You're not going to get back ever. I've been through this. Russ Courtnall for John Cordick.
So Ricky, I want to pivot to you real quick. There's a lot of guys with term, and this is kind of what we talked about. The 2026 free agency draft is dead because a lot of these guys have re-upped. So this deadline, you're seeing a lot of guys with term going. Colton Parayko's locked until 2030. Uyghur's locked until 2031. You got Tyler Myers getting now he's only locked in for this year and next year, but you're not seeing too many UFAs going. And these right-handed defensemen that are being traded, we didn't even talk about Rasmus Anderson, which was a couple of weeks ago, that went for 2 first-round picks, or a first and a conditional second. So, Ricky, what's your take on these guys with term going? And, deadlines.
Maddie, I'm going to give you all the credit in the world because when we first started this show about Christmas time, talking about trades, you said the key to the New York Rangers trade deadline will be Vincent Trocheck, and the reason you said that was because he's going with term. ABC either listened to you or just stole your line this weekend, because I don't know if you heard Fat Boy Bob Wilchusen say the Rangers are in a situation where they hold a lot of keys because Vincent Trocheck going with 3 playoff runs, your exact words, under a very cap-friendly contract, and term left on that deal makes him the number 1 target. And I think what you just said is the key. The draft is loaded, but there's no free agents. People who are in situations right now that are trying to win a cup in a window. Edmonton, right? Edmonton's trying to win a cup in a window. Florida is out right now, but Tampa Bay is trying to get back up there. All these teams, their coaches realize these draft picks right now are 3 or 4 years away from being in the NHL. They're gone. Most of those guys are not going to be coaching those same teams because they can care less about giving up a first or a second. They want the born player who's an established NHL player. And this comes down to, again, cap-friendly, term on a contract. Rylan O'Reilly today on All Over Nashville Radio is now moved up to the number 2 target on most trade boards because he has a year left after this. So that's 2 playoff runs at a very cap manageable a hit. And it's the new thing in sports right now in the NHL is you want to acquire guys with term because also, Maddie, something you've been saying all year again, I'm going to give you credit all night tonight, except for you blew me off last night. The cap is going up, and these contracts were based off of a very tight cap. So they're cap-friendly deals, a lot of these deals with term. So there's also money coming up. So taking a $5 million Trocheck contract back is like actually taking 3 when that cap goes up $14, $15 million.
Right. Yeah. That's a good
And
point.
The other thing about these trades too that I gotta mention too is that none of these guys are spring chickens anymore either.
No.
Rick,
So it's not like their teams that are
Listeners,
acquiring them are going to be saddled with them for another 5 years, 7 years either. Their contracts run out. So this is pushing to win now, not win later. That's why you're getting and right-handed defensemen, Matty. I was a right-handed. There's not a lot of them in the league anymore. There's a lot of lefties and righties. So,
again,
what a trend.
I want to hold off on the Rangers a little bit, but again, I gotta say, because we're in the topic, Braden Schneider has been somewhat, there's some smoke to the name. You see the returns that they're getting. He's not a UFA, he's an RFA, so you own his rights. And you see some of these, like I said, returns that you could be getting for a right-handed defenseman, let alone a young right-handed defenseman that still has top 4 upside. Jury's still sitting on his hands. And you look at the Ranger system, right? Now, Adam Fox, just of late, is now movable. You have Scott Morrow. You have Borgen. You have Schneider. You have Iorio. 5 right-handed defensemen. They all can play. Schneider seems to be the odd man out. You could have gotten something for him. You know what I mean? And, I mean, you still might, but all these trades are going by. I mean,
Schneider has been the most underutilized draft pick I've seen, and it's basically his own fault, and I'm blaming him, not even coaching. Schneider came up, and if you remember, he was baby Trouba. He was throwing huge hits. He was dropping his gloves and winning fights. He was becoming a Madison Square Garden favorite. Now, whether we can determine how injured he was, but he did say he played 2 years with an injured shoulder. That player, just like I'm going to name a guy I'm calling out later, Will Cooley, has just disappeared from the big hit, big fan favorite game. Okay? But Schneider has offensive ability. He's never been given a chance to play an offensive role because he's been straddled as a 6th defenseman. I think if you put Schneider in a number 4 with a steady partner, I'm just throwing somebody out there like Eklund from Edmonton, or you put him with Nurse and just say to this kid, you play offense and come back and hit, he'll develop better than what he's developed under the Ranger system. And I think he's another player like Lafreniere who will go somewhere else and become a star. And we're all going to say, why did we trade Braden Schneider? We never developed Braden Schneider because Adam Fox is the crown jewel of New York Rangers in New York City. He's going to get every power play moment. He's going to get every single number 1 defenseman minute on the ice. He's really not worthy at this point. Okay. He's a power play god. I will give him that. 5-on-5, he's awful. He's awful. And I'll be honest with you. If you watch his play, he's picking up Lafreniere's attitude with the eye rolls and the head shakes constantly, and he's becoming Eli Manning all shucks guy. And when you become all shucks guy at Madison Square Garden, people pick up on it. I think Fox has worn his welcome out.
So I'm going to do this real quick because I think I need to. Obviously, we've talked about this time after time. It's like beating a dead horse. This team has been so fucking mismanaged from the top to the bottom and everywhere in between. We've talked about Lafreniere. Kotze's made up so many keys. The kid came in. He was the number 1 draft choice, never really given the opportunity. We continue week after week, month after month, and Kotze and I year after year with these same discussions.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, I've had a couple of rise, which I needed tonight, so I'm loosening up a bit. But I will tell you this. It is insane after all of this time and now a panel of 4 to sit here and repeatedly talk about the same fucking issues. It's sad. It truly is sad. And until Dolan, whether sells the team or has an epiphany or whatever the case may be, is we will continue. Unfortunately, I feel like we continually repeat the same processes. But Kotze brought it up years ago. And here we are again talking about Lafreniere. Ricky, you're bringing up the great point of Schneider. Has he been developed? Has he been developed properly? Who's he played with? What positions has he been put in? And we talk about this, and we look at the greats that are developing, the Celebrinis, and I'm not comparing skill levels. What I am comparing though is ice time, and every asset and avenue of the game to play in. And the Rangers haven't developed these players. And here we are. Now we're at, well, Schneider's a great chip to get rid of, and hopefully we can get a second round pick. Or here we are going back to picks that we haven't developed, the ones that we've done in the past, but now we want new ones.
Well, hey, you want to really get upset, Paulie? Here's the full trade.
As a Ranger fan, it's disgusting.
Here's the full trade. You ready? The Edmonton Oilers have acquired Jason Dickinson at 50% retained and Colton Dock from the Chicago Blackhawks for Mangiapane and a first-round pick. They got a first-rounder for two guys combined with 14 goals. We got a third-rounder for Gabrick.
Panarin. Yeah.
Panarin. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Listen, I don't want to dive too deep into the Rangers just yet. We still have a lot.
Fucking dove already, Matty. You could stop with the not diving into the Rangers. We're fucking head first into the pool.
Listen. I run a tight ship over here, people. Okay? All right. Listen. There's still some stuff I wanna get into just a little bit. Right. Kiefer Sherwood signed an extension. 5 years, 5.75 with San Jose. San Jose gave up 2 second-round picks to acquire him. Now, what do we think of the Sherwood signing? Overpay? Guy who's been on a bottom 6 role for a long time. He's been scoring some goals. What do we think? Ricky, you like Sherwood?
Yeah, overpay. Major overpay.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. If we would have gave that up, I'd be furious at what they paid for him.
Yeah.
And you're right. He's a bottom 6 guy who's having a career season, and he's cashing in on it. And I'll be honest with you, San Jose needed a player like that because they actually have young talent that he can complement, unlike what we're facing here in Manhattan.
Yeah.
Yeah, he capitalized. I mean, he capitalized on a situation. You know, like probably would, if he didn't have a year like he's having now, he wouldn't come anywhere near that kind of salary, and wouldn't come anywhere near that the haul the other team got. But it's called being at the right place at the right time with a guy like him. I mean, and it's the same thing with all these trades that are going on right now. Again, I'm going to keep harping on. You know, there was always rumors. I mean, this guy, that guy, but most of the guys that got moved today, there was no rumor out there for months and months and months.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that
this Edmonton trade came out of nowhere.
Guys did it right. They did it right by holding their cards close, keeping their mouths shut, not telling the media, not telling some fan, not telling some idiot in the organization so it can get squeaked out, so everybody can start complaining or agreeing one way or the other. That's how you make trades. You keep it close to yourself, and then when it happens, then you let it explode.
Could you imagine if we wrote a letter just for Panarin and Soucy? Could you imagine the outlast that's gonna cause around New York City and in the pro sports world? Could you imagine if Trocheck's a Ranger on Saturday morning? If Schneider's still here on Saturday morning? Now, the only thing, guys, I want to bring up a little point. The only thing that would make me take a breath and step back is both Tkachuk and Matthews are done in their respective cities at the end of the season, bar none. They're both going to ask to be traded. That comes directly from Ray Whitney, and the Spit and Chicklets podcast basically said, no uncertain terms. Both those guys have leaked. They want out of Canadian cities because of what the repercussions were for just winning a gold medal and being Trump supporters.
And destroying Canada.
If you can 100% say we're keeping a guy like Trocheck, Schneider, Lafreniere, and 2 firsts to get a Chuck or whatever. I'm just making numbers up. Yeah. Then I'm okay with not making deals at this deadline.
Yeah.
But unless one of those 2 guys are coming back, this is foolishness that we have. Now, listen, my biggest pet peeve out of everything today is, and Maddie's going to laugh. Why did we call up Chernobyl to practice and not play tomorrow so Connor Sheary can get another game in the NHL? Why is this kid coming up here to sit? No, I'm being very sincere.
I don't disagree.
Why is Chernobyl?
That's on fucking Sullivan.
Why is Shalimar or whatever his name is, who's tearing up Hartford right now? Him and Robrecht are the only 2 guys putting up points and throwing the body. I watch every Wolfpack game. This kid deserves to be getting a shot up here. Okay, Edstrom's coming back. Put him with Carrick, Edstrom, and put Chernobyl. And you've got a massive fourth line again, which was dominant for this team early in the season. But you know what? I've come to a completely realization, I guess is a big word for me because I'm semi-stupid, is Sullivan is a fraud. He's a fraud, 100%. He does not follow what he said about coming here to develop youth. He's not following. What happened was he thought he had a playoff team that he was going to come in and just put some magic on and sprinkle some pixie dust and say, we're going to the playoffs. I'm already ahead of Lavalette. And you know what? It's not working, and he's not developing young guys. And if you listen to the Pittsburgh fans, they were so happy to get him out of Pittsburgh, right?
Oh, we didn't do nothing there.
Look what Pittsburgh is right now.
Yeah, and look at the lineup they're playing. They're playing kids 6 days out of college.
After they won the last 2 Stanley Cups, what was he doing there the last 3-4 years?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Okay, but getting back to the Ranger thing, guys. I told you last week, and I'm going to stick by it again. If you don't get a good haul for trading Trocheck or Zibanejad or Schneider, then I'm not making the trade, guys. The team's already decimated.
100%.
And what do you got coming up? You got guys to replace what you have now? You don't.
Nothing.
So here's my theory. Ricky, I'm going to touch on what you just said. If possible, maybe in the offseason around draft time, if a Matthews or a Kachuk is available, then you make the big splash in the offseason. But right now, you get rid of those 3 guys on the Rangers, and who are you bringing up to replace their spots? There's nobody there, guys. You got all these guys that are like 5th, 6th defensemen in the roster right now.
So here's a question I want to ask. Okay, the top 4 picks in the NHL draft, as currently constructed, will move around: Vancouver, St. Louis, Rangers, Calgary. Let's look at the other 3 teams, shall we? Vancouver, they have gotten 2 second-round picks for Kiefer Sherwood. They have gotten a haul back for Quinn Hughes. They just traded Tyler Myers for a 2nd and 4th. So they got a 1st, 3 seconds, a 4th, multiple prospects. Let's look at Calgary. They traded Rasmus Anderson, got a 1st and a conditional 2nd. They traded 3 second rounds for Mackenzie Weegar. They still have some guys like Kadri and Coleman that could be traded. Let's look at St. Louis. They just traded Colton Parayko. They still have some chips. All 3 of those 4 bottom teams have already set themselves up to the point where they have an extra 1st and other assets where they're moving. And here we have the Rangers sitting on our hands, our top pick, a guy who's over a point per game guy, our top guy. We get a mid prospect that'll be a middle 6 forward at best, a 3rd round pick, because we hold no leverage and we have a GM that's incompetent. So the question is, those 3 teams I talked about, St. Louis, Vancouver, Calgary, what could the Rangers do to possibly retool like them, if anything? And do you like what those teams have done?
Well, you'd have to do something like what you just explained, Matt. If you're going to trade a Trocheck, you got to get back 2nd round draft choices and 3rd round draft choices. That way, there you can make moves during the draft, go up and down. That's what those teams have done that you just mentioned. They're not going to draft all those positions in this new draft coming up. Trust me. I guarantee you that those 3 teams will maneuver a couple of seconds, a couple of 3rds to move over down or maybe move up. That's what you do when you get a ton of draft choices, because you can't sign them all. They can't all be signed, guys.
Katsi, do you think right now we currently hold 2 first-round picks? I cannot envision a trade of Trocheck not coming back with a 3rd first. In all real thinking, the New York Rangers can end up with anywhere between 3 and 4 first-round picks this year. Do you think that draft capital, taking 2 of them first-round picks and flipping that for an established center, can also happen, which is another thing.
It can possibly happen, but you got to get the right team involved. Like, okay,
I think
a bunch of teams that have made moves already. What teams haven't?
I'm going to tell you guys right now.
What teams haven't right now, Matt? Think about it. Is Montreal going to make a move?
They should.
They're another dangerous team that that could
100%.
Detroit needs to make a move. Detroit
guarantee
absolutely needs to make a move.
This.
You know what I
I'm
mean?
gonna
So,
tell
like,
you
is
this right now.
Trocheck a good fit in Montreal? Is he a good fit in Detroit?
Absolutely.
I'm going to tell you right now, I guarantee this, and you mark my words when I tell you this. Year after year, if history repeats themselves, with this team, with this management, with the ownership, with the direction, I'm going to tell you right now, and you can take this to the fucking bank, I guarantee you. There's no way Chris Drury isn't going to find a way of some kind to make, whether it's good or bad or indifferent, he's going to try to make a splash. There's no way this team next year, he's not going to try to make, and because we've watched them put Band-Aids on bullet holes. I'm telling you right now. Kotze, you made a great point before, and the more that I think about it, and the more that I think about this franchise, how much you want to bet? Oh, yeah, I'm going to hold these chips. I'm going to hold Schneider. I'm going to hold Trocheck. I'm going to hold this guy. I'm going to hold that guy because I'm going to go after someone that's rumored, wants to, whatever the case may be is. Don't get me wrong. I would sell the farm for Brady Tkachuk. I don't care what anyone thinks or says. You can have anybody you want right now on this Rangers hockey team, plus for Brady Tkachuk.
Well,
I guarantee you, Chris Drury, between now and the end of the summer, come free agency, makes a deal like that. I guarantee you. You mark my words.
Listen, they have to if they want to move forward.
He's no way going to rebuild over a 3 to 5 year period because he knows he doesn't have that kind of shelf life. He knows he doesn't have that shelf life. If he doesn't put something on the ice, I guarantee you, he knows he doesn't have that shelf life. He's not that stupid. I'm telling you right now. You mark my words.
Listen, that would be putting a piece of duct tape on a boat that's sinking.
And that's what they do.
Listen, I said it last week. This team is not making the playoffs in the 2020s. Let's get that out of our head.
I got that bet with you for
I will make it 200. After seeing what's going on, I'll make it 200, Kotze.
Make it 300. I'll
make it 300. I'll make it whatever your pension is from the NHL. I'm that confident that this.
Matt, I don't make shit from the pension. It's one of the worst in pro in pro world. Listen, okay? But I got enough bull to take that on.
No, but I'm telling you right now, Hartford is a joke. The best players on Hartford are 30-year-old journeymen.
Ricky, you know it, right? You know the Rangers organization is not going to put up with this. You know,
no, they're not.
Because how long have we been watching Ranger hockey? They don't do it. They don't.
What are you going to do?
Hey, I promise you, there's no fucking way Dolan's going to do that. You said what you said, and you know what? In the normal realization, I would agree with you. But the Rangers organization has been putting Band-Aids on bullet holes since forever. There's no way Chris Drury wants to keep his job, and he knows he has a shelf life. The only way to keep that shelf life is to disguise the fact that he might be building a real team to come back at you in the next 1.5 to 2 years. I'm telling you, I've been around way too long. You're wrong. I promise you.
Guys, just look back at the Rangers in the last 15 years, okay? They've always had a big splash by bringing somebody in.
That's Gabrick.
Big name with Gabrick.
Rick Nash.
Yeah.
Rick Nash. Artemi Panarin. They signed Drury and Gomez, who were 2 out of the top 3 free agents at the time.
Went and chased Keith Yandel.
They got Trudeau.
Shattenkirk.
I'm just saying, it's never been about getting that
Ricky,
guy.
You know I'm right.
It's about that guy producing while they're here. Okay?
Right.
With the rest of the team as the way the team sits.
The only thing that scares me is I think
you're logical. I understand your logic. We all do. And we love you for it. I'm just telling you, I've been around a long time. And your logic is logical, but the problem is what you're not looking at is that the Rangers franchise is never going to put up with that. You're not going to say, "Oh, we're never going to make it in the 2020s." Have you lost your fucking mind? That's
I'm telling you right now, they're not making it in the 2020s.
Matty, can I ask you a question?
They'll
Matt, I'm being
sell their
sincere.
firstborn. I promise you.
Matt, I'm being sincere. How old were you in '94?
All right.
How old was I in 94?
Yeah.
Well, this time in 94, I was not born yet.
Okay.
So I
just
wasn't born until later in the month of 94.
I'm not mocking you at all. I want to make I'm agreeing with something Paulie's saying, right? The Rangers fell into the depths of hell after '94. Messier left. They went out and replaced Messier with Gretzky. They went out and got Eric Lindros. They constantly have this way of trying to put a 50 caliber bullet in a 9mm, right? Yeah. It hasn't worked for this organization. It goes all the way back to Guy Lafleur
too, Ricky.
I was going to say it goes all the way back, but it goes back to Guy Lafleur. It goes back to Marcel Dion. It goes back to a lot of guys.
Because you need that star on Broadway.
On Broadway.
Yes.
Now, do I see Chris Drury being the right man for this rebuild? Absolutely not. I would drive him to the airport tomorrow if he was fired. But I also don't think Dolan, once next year, this team finishes in the fourth out of last place this year. That's what I'm saying. They're going to be probably fourth worst team in the league. Ticket sales are going to suffer because they're going to raise prices. And I think Drury's leash becomes really short. And at that point, I think you're going to see something like what we discussed 10 minutes ago. You're going to see an overpayment of astronomical size for a superstar to come to Madison Square Garden.
Absolutely.
But like here's the flaw in all of your logic. Because if it was a retool, you would have gotten a player back for Panarin, not a prospect.
You're not understanding the trade,
and you
Matty.
were handcuffed with that.
We
or
were
you
handcuffed.
would have or if it was really a retool, you would have kept Panarin. Okay,
Matty,
what are you going to do and get Matthews or Kachuk, and they're going to go to this dumpster fire that Fox wants to leave, that Gavrikov
fuck Adam
wants
Fox,
to leave?
Matt. What has Adam Fox done for this franchise? He's the most overrated. Listen to me.
He won a Norris, dude.
So what? My mother took him a fucking Norris. It doesn't make him a great defenseman.
Calm down.
Jim Carrey won a Vesna.
Oh my!
I mean,
God.
let's be realistic. You want to talk that? You want to just throw stats. Stats aren't everything, bro. A guy can have one fucking year and then not be healthy for the next 5.
1 year. Come on.
Matty, he's not been healthy for the last 4 years.
I promise you. This time next year, when we're sitting here, I'm going to bring up this conversation.
I'm just saying that. What I'm trying to say to you is,
and when we're worse than Vancouver,
let me just finish my point,
now?
and then you can have the show. You can't judge. I hate Chris Drury more than anybody. I like Henrik Lundqvist more than Chris Drury. Okay, Chris Drury was handcuffed on that Panarin trade, and there's nothing he could have done about it. Panarin had
why
a bigger.
Was he handcuffed though, Ricky? Why was he handcuffed?
He did it.
Well, he did it to himself.
He did it.
It's
I'm saying
he did
but
it to
the
himself.
only way he can justify any way staying here, and I want him fired, is this Trocheck deal. If he robs somebody on Trocheck and makes up for the Panarin, I could forgive him. But if he waits too long and Trocheck, we had a number 1 pick, Stemmel, a prospect, and a secondary pick coming back from Minnesota. If he let that fall through, this guy's got to be fired on Monday. Plain and simple.
Yeah, but Trocheck's already said he's not accepting any trades to the West, Ricky, period.
But he doesn't. There's more than 12 teams that go out west, Kotze. I'm just saying.
But Minnesota's a Western team, whether you like to hear it or not. You know what I mean? It's in the western part of the United States.
We don't know what's on the list, is all I'm saying.
He said plain and old, he does not want to go to the West, period.
I understand that, but he only has a 12-team cause. There's got to be more than 12 teams that go past Detroit.
Okay, but I don't think Minnesota's where he wants to go.
I get it. But I'm just saying, if he blows this Trocheck trade, he's got to go on Monday. If he robs somebody.
As bad as things are right now, I'm going to go back and repeat myself. I'm going to be like Pete and repeat. If you start trading everybody else that's tradable on the New York Rangers right now, boy, oh boy, the season's tickets boys are going to be real upset when they get their.
Let me ask you this, Kotze, you and Matt. If we wake up Friday morning and find out he got Zibanejad to waive, does this guy get a gold star?
For who?
Depends what you get. Like you can't
For
just say
who?
that.
No.
He got
It doesn't
Truba to
depend what you
leave. He
get.
got
If we
Kreider
lost
to
that
leave. He got
salary-
Panarin to
Repeat
leave.
it again, Ricky. For who?
I said if we wake up on Friday morning and find out he's got Mika Zibanejad to waive that contract, does he get a gold star?
No, you got to know what you get back. You traded Kreider, you traded Truba, you traded Panarin with no
You want that
moves,
contract
and
for
you
the
got
next 4 years?
nothing back.
That's a tough one because at the beginning of the year, I would have traded Mika in a hurry, but right now, I
It's
can't.
almost a
I'm
point per
trading
game.
him. You got nobody coming up in the system, guys.
Get
You
it.
get rid of him now. You got
want that for the next 4 years?
Show me one guy that you get to play center for this hockey club. That's coming from the minors.
Again, it depends on what he's coming back. But do you want that contract for another 3 years?
It's not.
It's
You
better
said
than
before the
the
cap's
last
going up. It's not that bad of a contract.
draft choices that are supposedly ready to play in the NHL, isn't it?
So
How many years are we going to go on with all these guys that have been drafted by the Rangers the last 3-4 years and have all had a cup of coffee or not that haven't shown shit?
Ricky, how much would you pay for a center that scores 30 goals in the open market?
Oh,
How much would you
I'm
pay?
not saying that I don't love Zibanejad. I think he's great this year. I'm just saying I don't want that contract for another 3 years. And he did that.
It's 4 actually, but
It's
yeah,
4.
I get
I'm
it.
saying he's done this all to himself. Listen, I want him gone. Joey Pacino, look it up, Matt. Joey Pacino was a better general manager than Chris Drury.
Listen,
It's
Am I wrong?
it's such a bad situation. It's like I told the guys last night. Ricky, you'd have been happy last night. The crew that I was with last night was Colton Orr. He's frozen up on me. You're still there, Ricky.
Yeah, I'm here.
We had Colton Orr last night, Eddie Hospodar, Nicky Fatio. We had Brandon Preston, Sean Avery last night. Anyhow,
You taking over Iran with that crew?
well, let me tell you, it was a great thing at the Ronald McDonald House. You know how they take care of kids that are in need. But getting back to the general conversation, there was like there's just too many holes in this organization right now, and it starts at the top. There's so many holes. You take your car to the body shop to get a paint job. They take the old paint off. They look, holy fuck, we can't fix this car. It's got so many holes.
But realistically, let me ask you guys a question. Realistically, looking at the Rangers roster as is, how many players does it take to make this team a playoff team? Like when you look at it, the 12 forwards, the 6 defensemen, the goaltending, how many players away are they from a playoff team? They're like at least 4 or 5 solid NHL players.
I'd say about 5.
I mean, and that's crazy because now you're going to trade Trocheck. You're going to potentially trade Fox in the offseason, maybe Schneider. And you guys are telling me that this team will be relatively competitive? There's no shot. I'm telling you, maybe it's not 2030, maybe it's 2029. It's going to be a long time because Hartford is horrible. Hartford is god awful. Ricky, you know better than anyone.
Yeah, they're terrible.
And other teams are getting second round picks like candy. I mean, Carson Soucy went for a third. Okay, at the time we're looking at it. But we look at all these other defensemen. Like I said, Mackenzie Weegar, I'm not comparing Mackenzie Weegar to Carson Soucy.
Let me ask you a
Mackenzie
question,
Weegar could do a lot more, right? But Mackenzie Weegar going for 3 second round picks.
I gotta wind you down. Let me ask you a question. Kotze, Ricky, Matty, I know you're young. How many times has this team built on draft picks? How many times has this team built anything on draft picks?
The only time was the 1994 team. 94 team. Zubov, Leach,
They
Richter.
went out and got every fucking possible best player in the league. They went out and got Anderson. They got they went out and got East Estetikinen. They got Adam Gray.
They got the guys
They got Messier. They went Larmer. They traded my favorite guy at the time, which was Mike Gartner, who was a 50-goal scorer, 30-goal scorer every year. Guys, this team has never built off the draft. What makes you think that they're going to change their ideology? You're missing the point, Matty. I'm telling you right now. I promise you, and we will have this discussion again. This team doesn't build off the draft. They never have, and they never will. They build off free agency. They're going to find, they're going to seek, they'll trade whatever they got to trade to get what they got to get. But you mark my fucking words, because I promise you this. They don't build off of – they don't build –
There's no free agents to get.
The last time –
they've never built for longevity.
Wait, I'm going to correct you on one thing, Paul.
Team was not built for longevity. It was built for then and at that time.
But
that's what it's built
Neil Smith was the last general manager
I'm telling you,
put a focus on a farm system. If you look at that team, right?
Build off the farm.
No, but listen, he put Zubov, Leach, and Richter, draft choices, not all his, but 3 draft choices who came up through the Rangers on that team. But you're forgetting Tony Amonte, homegrown Ranger, traded to win that cup. Doug Waite, homegrown Ranger, Hall of Famer, potentially
Traded to win that cup.
Brad Marchand, or whatever his name was, Marchand, who went to Edmonton for Tikkanen, traded. Goodbye. Plus, who they got? Lidster for? Like, they gutted the farm system, and it's never recovered since 1994. But that's the last general manager who put an emphasis on the New York Rangers Hartford farm system. Went from Calder Cup winning 10 years ago. They were winning the championship down in the AHL to being out of the playoffs and one of the worst teams. And they were just voted the worst developmental team in the NHL over the last 5 years. That's enough said right there for this franchise. Done. There's nothing here. They're done.
I would push back Gorton. I think Gorton did develop some picks. I mean, he did get into a little lucky with some draft picks, but listen, I'm gonna say I know we're only trying to go an hour or so out here, but what I want to talk about is we got 48 hours or what, less than that, 42 hours, whatever, till the trade deadline ends. What is the best and the worst case scenario for the New York Rangers when we're sitting here Friday night in 48 hours? The best case scenario that happens, the worst case scenario. What do we think? I'll start with you, Kotze.
I'm not trading anybody unless we win the Hall now.
I agree. 100%.
I just if you'd asked me 2 months ago, everybody'd be available. But I'm not trading any of those guys we mentioned tonight. Schneider, unless you win like a 2-1 Haul.
Yep.
That's it.
Absolutely.
All right, Ricky. What's the best and worst case scenario for you, Rick?
Best case scenario is, I hate to say this, that Chris Drury shits the bed and gets fired is the best case scenario. And I mean that sincerely. And I'm sure the 3 of you are going to agree with me. I'm comical sometimes, and I try to just lighten the mood. He's not the general manager to rebuild this organization. He's failed miserably, and he needs to go. Worst case scenario is he trades Schneider and Trocheck for more B-level prospects and draft choices that he's going to pick, which will miss again on, and the organization. The next 2 years could either make the New York Rangers a contender in the next 3 to 4 years. Matty, your window, 4 years, 3 years, possibly sooner, or set us back to the Muckler-Sather days and put us in 20 years of missing the playoffs. That's how much the next 2 drafts could hurt this organization.
Hey, Muckler,
let's be real.
You brought up Muckler. Muckler told Ron Greshner he'd never play in the NHL. That's how much I think of John Muckler.
Fuck John Muckler.
You know what I mean?
But we don't even have a second round pick this year. We don't have a second round pick next year. Those look like very valuable picks, obviously. This team is in such a world of trouble. I keep saying it. I keep banging the drum on it. Okay? Because there is not a lot of high profile assets that this team has to trade to get better.
I gotta interrupt you.
I gotta finish it off here with one thing, okay, guys? And I brought this up before. Talking with my former teammates over the years, they don't develop shit, okay? And there's a reason why. I mentioned this last week, and I'll mention it again to you guys.
Yes.
You don't draft top choices like Lafreniere, Kakko, and the other Swede that screwed up, and all these guys, and then make them play on the third line to start with. Your Celebrini start right away with the first line. Your Bedard starts right away in Chicago, okay? Right away. Rangers have a bad habit of not putting their guys that they draft that are high picks in that immediate role, regardless how good or bad they're going to be, to get that experience that they need. I will remind you guys, I know how much you all hate Alex Lafreniere. Go look at his World Junior numbers and his World Championship Junior numbers. This guy fucking dominated the world. Dominated, boys.
Yep.
What's he do? He gets drafted first overall by the Rangers, and he's got to sit behind Panarin. He's got to sit behind Kreider. He's got to sit behind the next guy and the next guy for the first two.
And play on his off wing, too. He plays right wing when he's a left winger.
Exactly. He's never played his original position here.
Well, he's getting bumped to the buffer on the power play and taking JT Miller.
Actually, Ricky, I actually like the Trocheck Cooley Lafreniere line right now. I don't mind that line.
I'm not.
Trocheck is gone.
The kid
Let's see what they can do. But I'm just giving you the facts. All the guys from Hedel to everybody. They've never been jumped right into the position worthy of their draft position, period.
I got it. So I want to make some points here. So, Maddie, logically, you have talked so logically, and honestly, I think you would do a better job at the position for a couple of reasons, or at least as a counsel in the position. What you don't understand is, and I think what you're missing is, you're 100% right. I don't want you to think that I disagree with you on your logical explanation of how it should and could and would go. But if you look back on history, if you look back at this franchise, if you look back just recently on the discussions to the man above you in this screen right now, he just made a great point about Lafreniere. This team does not build upon draft picks and development. It builds upon free agency and big names, and always has, and probably always will be, because you have to understand they're the second biggest earner in the NHL, only behind Toronto. You have to understand that the fan base will never put up with a 5-fucking-year rebuild. They'll never do it. Dolan won't take the losses. It'll never happen. It hasn't happened. It won't happen. I promise you. You logically make sense. If you were in Pittsburgh or Minnesota or even Philadelphia, you have to understand the Rangers are 1A behind the Toronto Maple Leafs when it comes to income in the NHL. They are the biggest, second biggest, or 1A biggest franchise in the National Hockey League. There is no way they will go through a 5-year complete draft-driven, successful rebuild. This team can't do it. They won't afford it. The management won't put up with it. It'll never happen. What they do is they build off of key components and hope to God that the rest of the team can come together. Look at them. They've had great goaltending and couldn't build defense, but had some offense. Look at what you're talking about. The past repeats itself, my man. Unfortunately, they're never going to build, and we all agree with you. Hartford's garbage. They don't really have anything. There's not picks to go to. There's nobody coming up, buddy. It's not happening. And I will promise you, nobody's waiting until 2030. I promise you that. Nobody. So you're grossly mistaken with that. But I will tell you this. At the end of the day, there will be a strategic move between now and the end of the summer to bring in a free agent that will bring in fans and maybe start chip by chip. That's the best host that you have. I promise you that, man. I promise you.
Well, we have another trade in the NHL. The Colorado Avalanche have picked up Nick Blankenberg, defenseman from the Nashville Predators, for a fifth-round pick.
Who?
Nashville's just unloading. Right
Everyone's going out of Nashville. They just
I've
traded.
never heard of the guy.
Yeah, he's a 7 defenseman.
Ricky, they're saying Stamkos might wind up back in Tampa. Is there
Okay, well,
any validity to
this
that?
is what's really weird. Now, I want to bring this up real fast because we're up against the clock. I don't know if you saw the announcement about an hour ago from Elliot Friedman. Did anybody hear what Elliot Friedman did? Elliot Friedman came out and apologized to the general managers and players of the NHL because he put a trade out today. He put the Calgary Flame trade out publicly before the players were even made aware of the trade. And a general manager called him up and said,
How the fuck did he get the news, though, Ricky?
Well,
Somebody in the
let me finish the story, Kotze. A general manager from around the league called him up and said, look, you're harming trades, you're affecting players, you're affecting our ability to make deals when shit like this is getting leaked, and you need to back off. Right?
That's just stupid. That's what that is by that manager.
I don't know. All I know is that a lot of people are talking this year. There's a lot more stuff out in public, and I don't know. You know what bothers me is how do we have Emily Kaplan, who works one Ranger game a month, know more about the organization than any beat writer in New York City? Why do I have to go to Emily Kaplan's X page to learn about the New York Rangers?
Because Larry Brooks died. That's why.
He's dead.
The
Larry
Rangers
Brooks, hey, have a
are
shot for Larry.
totally run from the top down. Simple as that.
Listen,
Have a shot for Larry, Paulie.
Listen, the other problem you have with the New York Ranger organization is they're also dueling for dollars in that city. You got the Knicks, you got the Yankees, you got the Mets. That's why the stardom thing's always there for them. They have to have that one
But listen,
big whatever.
I'll be honest with you. I'm probably not the majority of Ranger fans, but I'm probably in the minority of Ranger fans that they don't go to games at MSG. They rather do a road trip. I'd rather support this team on the road than I'd support this team at home because just the prices at Madison Square Garden are egregious. They're ridiculously priced. And you know what? Going on a road trip's always more fun. And that's why when Paulie says the fans won't show up, the Ranger fans will always show up. When even if they're not very good, the Ranger fans will show up because they're that diehard of a fan base.
Right.
But
and
listen,
you're a fan anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Take a look at it, Matty. Paulie brought up the Leafs and the Rangers. Two teams that are pretty horseshit right now.
Look at the bottom of the East right now. You got the Rangers, you got the Panthers, you got the Devils, you got the Leafs. Wow, but listen,
I would have bet a lot more money on that would never have happened this year.
I would have bet that those would have been the top 4 teams, not the bottom 4 teams.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean that's pretty wild. But I'll just say this in closing about the New York Rangers here. This deadline is really pivotal, and whether we like it or not, you're stuck with Chris Drury, and he, in my opinion, is one of the most grossly incompetent general managers I've ever seen in my 30, almost 2 years of life. And, it's frustrating to see because you see so many other general managers, even if their team is terrible, you see that there's hope. There's no hope for the New York Rangers. There's nothing. There's zero hope for the Rangers. There's nothing you can look at. There is no building block of the future right now. I don't want to hear Gabe Perreault. He had a great game the other night, 2 goals and an assist. But he has 11 career points. 3 of them came in one game. There's no building block for the New York Rangers. It's not Shesterkin, who's going to be 31 next year. It's not Fox, who might be out of here. It's certainly not Lafreniere, who hasn't cracked 60 points in a season.
I'm okay with Fox leaving. I think everybody.
But I'm just saying, you guys think that they'll turn it around. There's no building block, guys. And unless McKenna or Stengberg or any one of these draft picks become generational right off the bat, or maybe they hit on a 2027 pick that's generational, it's gonna be an uphill climb.
You're never going to know. Say the Rangers get McKenna. Are they going to start him right away and let him play the minutes?
Well, I think McKenna will be a bust because, in my opinion, I hope they get number 3 overall.
I'm just giving you a raw example. When you draft a guy in the top 5, he should be playing in the top 5 to start with.
Well, right now,
And I don't care if a
now-
guy's got an $11.5 million contract. You move to the second line.
right
don't
now
care.
with this
Look
roster,
at Matthew Schaefer this year. You think if he played as a sixth defenseman, he'd be doing what he's doing? No, they gave him all the ice time in the world to let him show his wares, and he's showing it, isn't he?
I think in McKenna,
That's the difference of the Rangers draft.
if the Rangers
Drop
get
them
McKenna,
and you don't use them right to start at the starting game. You try to make up for it 3 years down the road. By then, guys like you and guys like me and guys like Paulie and Ricky, we've made up our minds on these guys. When they haven't had a real chance.
I think if McKenna goes, if we get McKenna, he'll be a bust. I think McKenna has a higher ceiling than Stengberg. I think Stengberg has a higher.
I don't want any more Europeans, period.
I'd rather get number 3 and get the top defenseman.
How have we done with our
in the
European
draft.
drafts the last few
And
years? 2 Swedes, Hedel. I mean, how many more are we going to blow on Europeans?
yeah, I know you need
I think
North
this
Americans.
team needs
North
to
and
go
South.
ugly. I think it needs to go North American ugly. I think you need big, strong forwards. I think we take our chance at that point. You can always add skill. You can't always add will and that determination of the old North American style of in your face, grind it out. It's what wins hockey games, but more importantly, it's what wins playoff hockey. I will tell you right now, we looked at the Rangers.
Their mom.
We looked at the Rangers. They had some of the best goaltending in all the world. They still couldn't win. You know why? Because they didn't have the grinders. They didn't have the guys who could win puck battles. They didn't have guys that could win the dirty areas. Listen, there's a reason Miller and Trocheck went to USA. There's a reason why the Kachuk brothers were in the USA. If you think by any means that talent matched what the Canadians have, you're out of your fucking mind. You know what they did have? They have those areas of the ice that you need to win in playoff hockey. You need to win face-offs. You need to win the ugly ones. You need to win puck battles. You need to win in front of the net. That's what wins games. And more importantly, that's what wins playoff hockey. You can have 10 Connor McDavids. If you're not in front of the fucking net, screening the goalie and taking the bad, ugly hits and playing ugly, you're not going to win. It's that simple. At the end of the day, this team will, I promise you, find some type of free agent to make the ticket sales go up and hopefully have some picks that can accelerate. At the end of the day, guys, I'm going to tell you right now, there's no effing way this team is going to go 4 to 5 years on a rebuild. I promise you. And Maddie, you're 100% right. What you're looking at right now, they would be a 4 to 5 year rebuild if you're lucky, because we've all sat here and said they have nothing to offer. So now is the time to start. It's not going to happen. I promise you. I promise you that. And we will have this discussion again, probably the same time next year.
Well, Maddie,
be better.
I'd say at 5 p.m. on Friday, we go live after the deadline if these gentlemen are available. But if not, Maddie and I are definitely going to be doing a trade deadline show. Is that right, Matt?
Absolutely. Does he stay or does he go, people?
Well, listen,
That
I want to
guy's
end the
gone.
show.
This guy's gone. I'm tired
I'm
of
not
getting,
selling him unless I get a big haul in return.
Can
I'm
I
tired of
have
getting
one
signed
last
jerseys
1 minute
'cause they keep
before we
leaving.
end the show on a little rant?
Sure, go for it.
If the Spitting Chicklets podcast, and I'm throwing some shade at Spitting Chicklets, and if they got a problem, exactly. If Paul Bissonnette wants to go out and say, Big Walt, Big Walt, Big Walt, and say the nickname was earned by Keith Kachuk being the Big Rig and not giving credit to former New York Ranger captain and one of the best New York Rangers of all time, Walt Kachuk, then fuck those two brothers and fuck their dad and Bissonnette. No, I'm being serious here. The nickname Big Walt came from Walter Kachuk, who was one of the premier two-way forwards in the history of the NHL.
Ricky. I played
Patsy,
with
how many
Walt.
times have I begged you to get that man's number so I can interview him? And you know this. My favorite player of all time, Walter Kachuk, was a 30-goal scorer.
He's on his farm in Waterloo there.
He was a 30-goal scorer who played in the prime of the 70s for the New York Rangers against the Big Bad Bullies and the Big Bad Bruins and the Philadelphia Flyers and everyone else, and never backed down from anyone. He scored goals later in his career, became a very defensive center. The Bulldog line center with him, Steve Vickers, and Billy Fairburn. If you're going to throw credit out and give nicknames out, know the history of the game, Paul. You became famous from being a cokehead and being out of control, wild maniac on TNT, and they gave you a fucking show. You make a mockery of the league half the time, walking around a banana hammock. And, all of a sudden, we went from Milbury being a complete embarrassment to the NHL in one way
to
another embarrassment going the other way, to a point where Wayne Gretzky and Henrik Lundqvist got to take a back seat to that fucking clown on TNT.
Yeah,
I just had to have my one word. If you don't know who Walter Kachuk is, guys, look him up. You'd be honored to know that man and have him in your presence. And I just needed to clarify that because Walt's my favorite player of all time, and I don't like to see him insulted that way.
Yeah, I agree.
Bissonnette can kiss my ass.
Yeah, I'm not a Bissonnette fan.
Remember that, Paulie? You wanted to go after him, remember? When we talked about that a few years ago?
I challenged him a couple
I got my money on you.
I challenged him to a street fight a couple of years ago, man.
Did you lose?
He
Trust me,
didn't
Matty,
respond.
I got my money on Paulie.
He didn't respond. I'm not
He's a capo. The guy's a capo.
He's not just that. He's New York bred and born.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, Matty, I'll see you on Saturday. I'm sure we'll all talk before that, but I've got to jump out.
Yeah.
And you guys have a wonderful night.
And Ricky, Matty's going to be in control in case Paulie's not ready next week, so he'll be sitting in the hot seat.
He's the Rob McClain of the show.
What about Don Cherry?
All right, everybody. Good night.
Good one, boys.
Good night, guys.